Hello students, this is standard 9 SS and lesson number 15 drainage system and myself Zainab Nalwala. So in this chapter we'll discuss about the drainage system of India. So it is a systematic pattern of rivers. While observing the physiography of India, it is seen that a river and her territories, her tributaries come from different directions. So, when a river flows through its system in any area, it is called a river basin. So, when a mountain or an upland separates the flow of water from one another, it is called water divide. Moreover, in drainage system of India, it is divided into two parts according to its physiography, that is Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So, in rivers of India, these zones are according to its difference between the places of India. Okay, so Himalayan rivers contain water throughout the year, whereas peninsular rivers have increase or decrease in the water volume due to heavy rain during monsoon. So two major rivers of Himalayas, that is Sindhu and Brahmaputra, originate in the northern part, whereas these rivers have cut deep gorges of cutting the mountains. So Himalayan rivers cross a long way from its origin to the sea. As you can see, this is the greatest river basin of the world, river Amazon. And in India, the greatest river basin is that of Ganga. Moving on, the three stages of a river system. So the three different stages are the upper course, middle course and lower course. So when a river starts from the mountainous region, it causes intense erosion. It carries huge volume of sand and sediments along with it. And near its delta, a river is divided into many tributaries. This divided area turns into a very fertile plain in a triangular shape, which is called delta. So due to the physiography and the slopes of the mountain, most of the peninsular rivers originate in the Western Ghats, flow eastwards and meet the Bay of Bengal. The Western Ghats serve as a major water divide for the peninsular rivers. Further, we'll see about the river system of main river and its tributaries. So dendritic pattern, when there is a pattern of tree branches, then trellis pattern when they make a net-like shape, rectangular pattern when they form a rectangle shape, radical form where the river system is formed in all directions. Moving on, this is a map of Ganga river and its basin. The various places are also shown here. So this is the first part of our video. We'll continue in the second part. Thank you. Hello students, this is the second part of 15 chapter 9th standard SS. Here the Himalayan rivers are we discussing. These rivers are long and many tributaries meet them. When a large river and her tributaries meet, they form a pattern which is called a system. So the first is Sindhu Indus river system. Here the river Sindhu emerges from the Man Sarovar in Tibet. First it flows to west and then turns westwards. There it enters Ladakh. It has formed many inaccessible gorges. River Zaskar, Nubra, Shyok, Hunza meet her. Satluj, Bees, Ravi, Jhelum and these much are her tributaries. These five rivers meet Sindhu near Mithankot in Pakistan. So about 1/3 of its basin falls in the mountainous region of Jammu Kashmir. Moving on, the next system is Ganga river system. So this we studied about the upper, middle and the lower courses of a river. This is the Sindhu river system. Okay, just one of its picture, its original picture. Next we will talk about the Ganga. So river Bhagirathi and Alaknanda emerging from the Gangotri area in Himalayas merge with each other near Devprayag. Ganga leaves the mountainous terrain and enters plains near Haridwar. Many Himalayan rivers meet Ganga. Among them Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi are major rivers. So Yamuna emerges from Yamunotri and Ganga for Gangotri. Then comes the source of Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi lies in Nepal. Moving on, there are few rivers like Chambal, Betwa, which originate in the Peninsular Plateau and meet Yamuna. Sun River meets Ganga. These rivers originate in semi-arid area. Their length of flow is shorter and have limited volume of water. Moving on, this combined flow of rivers from north and south is divided downstream into two branches. One branch is Bangladesh and is known as Padma, and another branch is Bhagirath, Hooghly in West Bengal. These two branches meet the Bay of Bengal. So, the flow of Ganga, which is known as Padma in Bangladesh, emerges there with river Brahmaputra, and their combined flow is called Meghna. The Ganga Brahmaputra delta is most fertile and is known as Sundarban. The third river system, if you can see here in the Himalayas, the third river system is Brahmaputra river system. So that we'll discuss in the third part of the video. Thank you. Hello students, this is the third part of lesson number 15, 9th standard SS. Myself Zainab Nalwala. So this is the Brahmaputra river system where it originates in Mansarovar in Tibet. Its source is the near of place of origin of rivers Sindhu and Satluj. Most of its flow is outside India. This river flows in the east parallel to the Himalayan mountain system. These Namcha Barwa, it takes a U-turn and enters Arunachal Pradesh. Here it is known as Dihang. This river with Lohit and Kenula tributaries is collectively known as Brahmaputra in Assam. Moving on, there is less of sedimentation in this river in Tibet. Many tributaries meet this river in Assam. This Brahmaputra flows in the braided form. Every year there is a huge increase in the water as it overflows during rainy season. Due to heavy rains in Assam during monsoon, there is a huge deposition. The increasing level of Seine in this river raises its bed higher, so there are frequent changes in the courses of river. So now we'll study about the second part of the system, river system, that is the peninsular rivers. Okay. So these are some of the facts of your textbook itself. Okay. Brahmaputra is known as Sangpo in Tibet and Jamuna in Bangladesh. Musili is an island which is a large riverine island in the world. An hydrosphere exists over 71% on the Earth's surface. So, I think that Narmada Basin, yes, I'm talking about this. So, Narmada originates near Amarkantak Plateau in Madhya Pradesh, and the Dhaundar Falls are located here. Rocky terrain of marbles near Jabalpur. Okay, most of the rivers meet at right angles. Its basin is spread over MP, Gujarat. So Narmada is about 1312 km long. The next is the Tapi Basin. So Tapi Basin is Satpura ranges are located in MP. Tapi river originates in Betul district. Parallel to Narmada, it meets Arabian Sea. It has an extensive basin in MP and Maharashtra. It is 724 km long. Next is the Godavari Basin, largest of the peninsular rivers. Slopes of Western Ghat near Nasik, 1465 km long. 50% of its basin lies in Maharashtra and the rest is in MP and Andhra Pradesh. It is known as the Ganga of the South. Godavari is called the Ganga of the South. Next, Mahanadi. This is Mahanadi Basin. It is 860 km long. Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Orissa. Then comes the Krishna Basin. It originates near Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra, 1400 km long. Next is the Kaveri Brahmagiri range in Western Ghats, 760 km long. So here ends this part, third video. We'll continue in the fourth video. Hello students, this is the fourth video and here we'll discuss about lakes. So the picture clearly shows the size and the depth and the difference between a lake and a pond, and I hope that you also know the difference between river and a lake. So lakes are too much found in India. Freshwater lakes. Many lakes contain water during rainy season. In Kashmir, glacial lakes are formed. Few lakes are formed due to wind, rivers, human actions. Sea tides have created lagoon lakes. Chilka, Koleru, Pulikat are examples of this type of lakes. Sambar Lake in Rajasthan is a saline water lake and salt is produced in it. So Himalaya has many freshwater lakes. Wular Lake in Kashmir, Dal Lake, Bhimtal Lake, Loktal, Bada Pani, etc. So what are the importance of lake is that they have originated Some rivers have originated from these lakes, and this region have more rain and more water is accumulated here. Because of this accumulation of water, it can be used for irrigation and other purpose. The stored water can also be used during drought. So reservoirs and lakes formed during the dam are useful for generating hydel power. Moving on, the economic importance of rivers. So rivers have remained most important during human history. It has satisfied basic need of man. Agriculture and industries have developed due to the rivers. Many of the cities have developed along the river banks, that is Delhi, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Bharuch, Surat, etc. Rivers is considered to be a base for an agrarian country like India. So in recent times, river water is utilized for drinking, irrigation, hydel power and for navigation. Moving on, the next topic is about its pollution. So rivers are called Lokmata, yet they are holy, but they are used for industrial release effluents. Sewage water is dumped in the river near the city. We also throw solid waste in the river. As a result, river water is polluted. And pollution increased due to industrialization and urbanization. At this stage, public participation is equally expected along with its government efforts. So this shows some of the pictures of river pollution. Some of the measures our National River Conservation Project is going on. Strict rules should be formed. People should follow that. Industrial units should be filtering their harmful contents. And in order to keep the river water clean, every citizen should take care not to mix up the domestic waste into the river. So this here we end our chapter. Thank you.